Racism been a pandemic. America is the epicenter. State of emergency, segregation, the social distance. Change the channel, y'all. This static, this interference, this backdrop, these limitations of these stations sanctioning minds, frequencies intertwined, crossing lines, denting your cognitive and twisting up your dissonance, distancing knowledge from ignorance. Black codes on your earlobes pierced deep by in your windows, trying to block out this blackout. Whitewashing doesn't need white out. Gentrification of frontal lobes echoing that Jim Crow. Change the channel, y'all. Mainstream got you drowning, caught up in its currents of systemic loopholes and a stereotypical flow, searing your mind, robbing you blind of vision while snatching the power from your tongue, silencing your voice with this static, this interference, these lies demanding adherence. Change the channel, y'all. No remote needed. And I'll excuse you while you brace yourself as I unlock your cognitive and realign your dissonance in this frequency of no static, no interference. Change the channel, y'all. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this evening. I am Lisa L. Youmans, the creator and host of Change the Channel. I'm also the founder of an organization, Change Gonna Come, where we are a voice in the fight for justice, a hand in building community, and a key to unlocking freedom. So again, I want to welcome you to Change the Channel, no static, no interference. And tonight I'm here with my special guest, Lucretia Dole. So Lucretia, welcome to Change the Channel.
Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. So I want everybody to go ahead and share the video out, tag some friends, invite some people to come in and get in on this conversation on tonight. Thank you for joining on tonight, Milan. Okay. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Yes, you go to my church. Hey, Milan.
Thank you so much for joining. So continue to share this broadcast out and then also invite some others to come in and join us on tonight. We are going to go ahead and get started. But before that, I just want to introduce our special guest on tonight. So Lucretia Dole is a bell disruptor in Atlanta, Georgia. She is living proof that society's expectations of you should never dictate what you should choose to become. The daughter of a formerly incarcerated mother, she overcame the obstacles she faced at a young age and became passionate about empowering youth and adults with the knowledge that they are capable of doing extraordinary things despite their backgrounds. She has over 20 years of experience in management, case management, youth development, and nonprofits. Lucretia has extensive experience working with youth from low-income communities, youth in foster care, youth with an incarcerated parent, youth struggling with substance abuse, and youth in juvenile justice and detention centers. In 2016, Lucretia created her own foundation in honor of her mother, the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation's PAD Foundations, to provide book and summer camp scholarships to youth with an incarcerated parent. She has given a total of 10 scholarships with care packages since launching. Lucretia graduated from Herzing University in Atlanta with a bachelor's in business administration and an emphasis in management. She received her MBA from American Intercontinental University in Dunwoody, Georgia. In her free time, Lucretia enjoys volunteering, playing kickball, mentoring, music, and traveling. So again, Lucretia, I want to thank you for joining me and welcome again to Change the Channel.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into our conversation, talking about your foundation and also you working with the Bell Project. So concerning your foundation, the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation, just tell us a little bit about how that came about and what is it that you do and who you serve within that foundation.
Yes, the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation was founded in 2016. I name it after my mother, Patricia Ann Doyle, that's her name. And the foundation provides free scholarships to youth who has currently or formerly incarcerated parent. So we provide book scholarships to college students, and we also provide summer camp scholarships to youth ages 5 to 16. And both scholarships can be up to $1,000. And so we just created a new program where we provide pay for college applications, because we know that college applications can be very expensive. So we decided to add that initiative in 2021 during the pandemic.
Okay, and you mentioned the which, and that is great, by the way, just giving the scholarships and especially books to that college. You said college students.
Yes, ma'am. So it
Yeah.
could be it can be trade school, graduate school, community college, higher school. It doesn't matter, as long as it's a youth that's going to college, or a young adult, or an adult that has been impacted by a parent that been current or formerly incarcerated. We can provide this scholarship to you.
Okay, and then with the summer camp scholarships, is it a summer camp your foundation creates, or you partner with other organizations to help with their summer camps?
So the young person chooses what camp. We do not pay for summer school, but summer camp. So in 2019, we paid for two young people. That's when we first started the summer camp program, scholarship program. One young man went to Morehouse STEM program, and we paid
Mhm.
for his scholarship. That was $550. And then we paid for another young man. He went to YMCA in Atlanta, and that was up to $1,000.
Okay, and
So we
and
pay the camp directly.
the camp direct. Okay, so that's
Yes.
that's awesome. That's awesome. To give a child a chance to, to do something, kind of broaden their horizons. So I just want to kind of go back from to the beginnings, kind of sort of when you're dealing with a lot of youth, and I read in your bio you even started a drum line and everything like that. So why the focus on our youth? Is that something dealing with your own experience that you're focusing on the youth?
Well, I always have been working with at-risk youth. I used to work for the Department of Juvenile Justice as a social service worker. I used to work for Fulton County Juvenile Court. I was a youth program director there for a drug court program that we had at the court. So, and also I used to be a program manager for a group home in Cobb County. So my work has always been around young people that most folks might call it the least of these, but they are called opportunity youth. I still feel like they have an opportunity to be the change, be great. And I share my story with them. Many of them have experienced a parent being incarcerated. Many of them have experienced a parent been on substance abuse. My mom um, was also, involved with substance abuse, and also she was in the prison system. So I can relate to the youth in that aspect. And so that's how I was able to be a part of working with young people in different arenas in Atlanta.
Okay, and I do have another question concerning the youth. Kind of like take us through, like when you come in contact with them initially, like what their situation or their circumstance, their mindsets are, and then after that youth has been in contact with you and you go take them through a process and you help them, like what's the outcome from that, from the beginning, from beginning to the end when they come to you?
Well, when I was working for Department of Juvenile Justice, I mean, like I said, I had youth ages between 12 to 17 that was incarcerated at one of the largest RYDC, which is Regional Youth Detention Center here in Georgia, called Metro. I was there for 5.5 years, and those youth came in there for runaway, petty crimes, theft by shoplifting, theft by receiving. Yep, young people are out here doing adult crimes, but they still have a child mindset. And so
Right.
it's and while I was currently working there, I was trying to build the young people up, let them see that they made a mistake and move forward. And many young people come from broken homes.
Right.
That could be youth in foster care, youth who parent might be incarcerated, youth who parent might be having mental health issues. But at the end of the day, still trying to build that young person up to let them know they still can make a change and they can be someone.
Right. And I do, just thank you for like pointing that out, because sometimes we can look at our youth and think this is just a bad child. People cast them away and different things like that. But
Right.
there really is always a reason that someone is acting the way that they're acting.
Oh yeah, I
And
mean, I feel like
yeah,
all is not lost. We
right,
cannot give up on our youth. I know every day we see something on the news like, "Oh my God, this kid is carjacking. This kid is doing this." But you also have to go back and see what's going on in the home. I'm not going
right,
to blame everything on the parents because it takes a village. It really does. Single parents need help. Two-parent household need help. Grandparents are raising grandchildren. That's a big most of the kids that I provide scholarships to, they live with their grandparents. And so when my mother was incarcerated, I was living with my grandparents. I was blessed to
right,
have a grandfather and a grandmother to raise myself and my siblings. So everyone does not have that. And so we have to meet the kids where they are.
right. And you mentioned your mom and how you was a child of an incarcerated parent. So I do want you to go back to that, to just let everybody know how her story ended, because I was reading some things on your website and how she really, overcame a lot of the things that she was going through.
Yes, my mom, she served 5 years in prison. She was raised in a two-parent household. Her father was a preacher. He was in the military. Her mother was a preacher. So, people kill me with that stat. Most people who go to prison coming from a single parent household, that is not true. But one thing I can say, she changed her life around. She went one time. One time was
Mhm.
enough. And when she came out, she attained her GED. She went to nursing school, became a phlebotomy technician, and believe it or not, even though she had a criminal background, she got a job at LabCorp and became a supervisor. So that was a big change. She got involved in church. She got involved. She was a singer. She loved to sing. She got involved in the community. She loved feeding the homeless. She was on several boards as a board member. So when she got out, she actually made a change and tried to help others who was incarcerated to make a change. So once they got home, she can help them as well.
Right. And I thought that was awesome when I read that, the things that she went on to accomplish, the changes that she made in her life, and how she started began to help other people. So I really did want you to, just highlight that and just not really leave it at, I was a child of incarcerated parent, because
Oh, of
there was
course.
some
I'm
great stories.
always,
Yeah.
of course.
There was
I'm
some
always
great
going to
things
brag
that
about my
happened.
mom, regardless what society may say or may feel about the situation. I learned from her mistake. I knew
Right,
not to go. She taught us that you don't make the same mistake that I made. And she was
right.
always transparent from the beginning of her incarceration until she passed away August 1st, 2001.
Okay, okay. And she passed away in 2001, and you created the foundation in 2016?
Yes, I created the foundation in 2016. I wanted to give back. I wanted to do something, and this vision just came to me, and it was unbelievable. I was like, I want to give back. I want to do something in my mom's name. I want to
Right,
share her. I always was sharing her story, but I never had anything that can really emphasize and show the world what I'm actually doing. Sharing her story was great, and sharing my story was great, but actually giving back with her name, with a scholarship, with a check with her name on it, feels great. I got T-shirts with her name on it. Um, some other, little items with her name on it. It's just great to be able to do this and share with the world what's actually going on. Because the stats say that I'm 5 times more likely to be incarcerated. I
right.
can honestly say that I have never been in trouble. I'm not trying to get in trouble. Um, I have worked for juvenile court. I worked for juvenile justice, and I'm good. I have visited her for 5 years. I even helped other kids go see their mom and dad that was incarcerated for several years. And trust me, prison and jail is not for me.
So with the mindset that you have, you talked about the stats of that you was supposedly going to be 5 times like more likely than anybody else to go to prison or jail. So in your mind, what was it for you that kept you on a different path?
On my faith. I'm grateful that my grandparents was preachers. That's how I learned how to become a musician. While my mom was incarcerated, I said I got to do something. Believe it or not, I'm the only grandchild that plays an instrument and sing, and God just gave me this gift, and I'm grateful of it. I still play. I play for my church, my Olive Baptist Church in Stockbridge. Shout out to my pastor, Dr. Terrence J. Gaddis. And so I'm still a musician. I play every Sunday. I'm also a DJ, so I do special events, and also I create a youth drum line at my church because
Right,
every young person do not want to usher. Now, every young person don't want to sing or be on the mime team or the dance team. So I created something different and unique. Of course, people was like, "How you gonna do a drum line in the church?" Trust me, it was. I was creative and it's good and we're good. I love the young people. I love music. But like I said, it was my faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for.
right,
And I'm grateful that my grandparents, I had a praying grandparents, and they allow us to, um, be emotional, be vulnerable, and they were there for us, and I appreciate them.
right. That's awesome. Now with the drum line, do you all do different events?
Oh yes, we have done the Hawks. We played for the Hawks. We did the MLK event. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we was unable to do MLK for the last 2 years. But the MLK parade in Birmingham and in Atlanta, we done special events at my church and other churches, youth conferences. We are always asked to be somewhere, to play somewhere, and I'm just grateful because I'm not even really like pumping the drum like marketing the drum line. It's mostly about word of mouth.
Word of
So
mouth.
old school, just word of mouth, or someone saw a video, or someone shared. Oh, I know a drum line. Contact. Well, my nickname is CC. The contact CC. She got a youth drum line from her church. So contact her. It's called the Hype Drum Line, the Hype Ministry at the church, and so it's called the Hype Youth Drum Line.
I think that's a good thing, especially when you're talking about youth in church, because that's something exciting to make them want to be a part of the church. Like you were saying, some kids don't want to be a usher or just come to church and sit there.
Right. I mean,
So,
it feels good to have some youth that not involved in the criminal justice system.
right,
So that's my I call that's my peace. Church is my peace. You got to have peace at home and you got to have peace in church. And so when I have young people that's not involved in the in a juvenile system, it feels great. I have all the young people are doing very exceptional well in school. Shout out to the Height Drumline if they're watching. I'm proud of all of them. They always invited me to their events at their school. Their parents always letting me
right.
know if they're doing well in school, things of that nature. And even if they're not doing their chores, they let me know. So
Wow.
I say, if you want to be on this drum line, cleanness is next to godness. So we have fun. It's not all just music. We have fun, and I provide gift cards, $10 gift card. It may not be much to anybody else, but it's not coming out of my pocket. I get them $10 gift card to each drummer for their birthday from Chick-fil-A, and also we give when the pandemic was not going on, we gave either cupcake or we had a cake with their name on it, and I exposed them to nice things. I took them to a restaurant. Some of them never had Thai food, and so I took them to
Right,
a Thai restaurant downtown. So sometimes it's just good to engage our youth in other things other than church, outside the four
right,
walls. I remember one time we did an event at Greenbrier Mall, and because my church is in Stockbridge, a lot of kids ain't never been to the West Side, so the mall was kind of different for them, but it was an eye opener, and I'm glad that they was able to see that. Even when we perform at the MLK parade at Piedmont Park, and they were seeing a lot of homeless people, they need to see that. They need to be grateful for what they have because everybody don't have what they have.
right. And the exposure is good. especially for our
Yes.
young people, to let them know that there's something outside of the world that they're living in, be it a good space or a bad space.
Oh
So
yes.
I think that's a great thing. So I just want to acknowledge my guests that are joining me live on tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions for my special guest Lucretia on tonight, feel free to put those in the comment section below, and she will answer your questions for you. So again, thank you for joining me. Continue to share the broadcast out. Continue to tag your friends to get people in on the conversation. So I want to go back to our youth, because I really do also have a heart for our youth, and the thing is, our youth are our future.
Oh yeah.
So at some point they're going to be leading us, and they're going to be making the decisions and different things like that concerning somewhat of our well-being. So, what are some of the lessons that you are instilling in them, especially those that are kind of, well, on both sides, the ones in the church and the ones that are in situations where they're in the court system and different things like that? What are some of the lessons and the things that you're putting on the inside of them?
One is respecting your parents.
Hmm.
No matter what, even if your parent may be wrong, it's a way to acknowledge it without being mean, hateful, um, being insensitive. Um, and I teach that with the kids who were, in the justice system and the kids who are not.
Right.
Um, and respect adults. It's nothing wrong with saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. I cannot stand a kid saying what. That is like one of my big pet peeves. Like, who you talking to? Like, that bothers me. I don't know why it does something to me. I can't not take it. And so just presentation. You should want to look good. I learned this from my grandmother. She always say, I like to look good, smell good, and feel good.
Right.
And it's not your looks that take you to this world, through this world. It's your ways. And my grandmother used to say this, and I used to be like, what is my grandmother talking about? But actually, she's speaking the truth, because I remember I went to the bank a couple weeks ago, and the bank manager was like, every time you come in here, you're always smiling. I just want to tell you that. So that lets you know, you never know who's paying attention to you.
Exactly.
And so these are some of the things that I share with the young people. Um, everyone is not called to work with the youth. Many
Right.
are called, but only few are chosen. And I do believe that I'm chosen to work with the youth, to work with the community, to, like you say, change the channel.
Right. Absolutely. And when I'm thinking about social media and how our youth are caught up on social media, they're influenced by a lot of things on social media. And we know that most of these things are lies when people are putting different things out and saying, look at my life, and these type of things like that. So how do you encourage your youth to continue to be authentic to themselves in this age of social media and what's going on around us?
Well, everyone wants to be like, everyone wants followers. And I share
Mhm.
with them, uh, you got to come up with your own swag.
Mm,
And swag is someone who always admire God. That's how I look at it.
right.
And so you have to be comfortable within yourself. You have to have ambition. You have to have goals. Even as a young person, you should have goals. You should have short-term goals and long-term goals, just like adults. And so this is where I instill into the young people. Uh, we pray together. We say Bible verses together, because I believe that is important, especially youth. On my drum line, we don't just start playing. This is how we open up rehearsal. Even at an event, that's what we do. Even if we go eat at a restaurant, that's what we do. And so we have to be mindful who we have around our young people. We have to be mindful what we teach them. The main
Right.
thing is they need to learn how to respect themselves and not be so focused on social media. Yes, it's nice to have likes. Yes, it's nice to have followers, but you also got to be careful what you're listening to and what you're
Mhm.
seeing. Even as adults, we have to be mindful what we hear in what we are seeing, because that can be detrimental. It can mess with your mental health. Mental
Right.
health is not just, well, adults. You got young folks committing suicide, and young folks who is depressed or sad and just want to give up. And you have to encourage our youth. That's what they need. They need more encouragement. Even those who are in IEP classes, they need encouragement. Even those who are in advancement classes, they
Right.
still need encouragement. In gifted classes, it doesn't matter. Even those who are locked up, they still need encouragement. And so everybody should be encouraging our youth, regardless of their background, regardless of their social status, regardless if they're rich, middle class, or poor. At the end of the day, we should all try to support our youth.
Right. And that is so true. And I like that swag, someone who admires God. And and just telling them to be true to themselves. But that is so true what you're saying about we need to be encouraging our youth with so much going on, especially with COVID, so many things happening. You mentioned suicide. I was going to ask you about that too. Yeah, and a lot of those things are going around, and they just don't need adult people putting them down. So
Exactly.
even while we're talking about the COVID things that's going on with COVID, the youth that you're working with, how has that affected them?
I think it has impacted them a lot,
Hmm.
especially if they have been social, especially when the school has shut down. Um, a lot of young people had to sit in front of a computer all day and try to learn and process. Not even youth in elementary. We got youth in preschool, youth in elementary, middle, high, college, grad school. It was a big change. And then you had parents who had to change their schedule.
Right.
Those had to leave their jobs, and you have single parents trying to make a decision on how who's going to watch their middle school child that's sitting at home by themselves, or should I go to work? And so it has impacted everybody. It's just it's sad that we had to endure the pandemic, but I think it has brought a lot of people closer. A lot of
Right.
families have reunited. A lot of families are sitting together, eating together. A lot of families are praying together. A lot of families are doing things together for as helping their child with their school. Instead of blaming the teacher, now you can see your child has always been the problem. I'm talking about some people. I'm not saying all.
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
and, and then you have some kids who was doing exceptional well in school, but when they got online, their grades has diminished, and unfortunately, it has put a toll on the teachers as well, because you have teachers who are trying to teach students on a computer, and you got some students not paying attention, falling
Right.
asleep, laying in the bed. Should be the parents should leave. I'm telling you, if it was my child, you would be at the kitchen table. And I'm sitting right next to you, and you're gonna get tired of me, and I'm gonna get tired of you. And so, you just got to be mindful. It's just a lot that was enduring. It impacted everybody. I'm not gonna just say the students. The teachers have really been
Right.
impacted. A lot of teachers are losing their mind. A lot of teachers are committing suicide. A lot of teachers
Hmm.
are mental health, depressed, or seeing a therapist. And then you got
Right.
parents going through the same thing. So I think everybody has been impacted by the pandemic. Even my organization, we've been impacted, for as we would have not been able to do our two annual fundraisers, the wine tasting and the benefit concert, for 2 years, all because of the pandemic. And also, I want people to be safe. It's not all about the money, it's about safety. And we want to make sure everyone is doing well and no one getting sick. I don't want to be held liable for anybody getting sick at an
Right.
event, all because I want to raise money. So,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, because there's always other ways to do that. And
exactly.
when you're talking about how COVID affect like teachers in school, how has that affected you connecting with the youth that you could have previously just went to the juvenile center or just met them somewhere? How are you still able to meet? Or do you do Zoom? How did that change since we're here in COVID?
So actually, I'm not no longer working in the working with youth per se. I'm working more with adults.
Right.
So right now, my youngest client is 17 years old, and my oldest client
Okay.
is 72.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got clients in a wild range. And so I work my full-time career. I work for the Bell Project. And the
Right.
Bell Project is a national nonprofit organization where we provide free bail assistance to those who cannot afford it at no
Mhm.
cost to them. We opened up in Atlanta November 2020, and I helped launch um, that site, myself and another colleague. We helped launch that site, and we're still up and running. We only post bail in DeKalb and Fulton County jails, but we also post bail in Augusta, Georgia as well. But we have a separate team that actually work with that particular site. So we are located in 28 cities across the United States.
Right.
So we're doing this work in Chicago and Texas and Mississippi, LA, Ohio, Kentucky, South Carolina, North Carolina. We just opened up in Florida, Pensacola, and Orlando. So the organization is growing. I'm grateful to be a part of this organization. I'm making a huge impact. Um, we're not just posting bail. I'm helping clients get mental health, substance abuse
Right.
treatment, those who need employment, those who need education. I do have some folks who do not have a high school diploma or GED. I do have some people who do not have housing. So we partnership with a lot of other organizations to provide that services for those who may need it.
Right. Okay. And the Bill Project, I just want to make sure I got the website correct, just in case someone wanted to go there. TheBillProject.org, or is it .com?
It's
Or did I have
take
it
out
wrong?
it just www.bailproject.org.
TheBillProject.org. Okay. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
We just
Um,
use the acronym TBP. Yeah, that's it right there.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the yeah,
So
that's the website.
billproject.org. And we're
Yep.
going to talk bit more about that, but I do want to, again, acknowledge my guests. Thank you for joining me here live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Continue to share the broadcast out. And going back to the Bill Project, I have some more questions about that, which is
Okay.
how me and you connected through
Yes.
you doing the Bill Project, and we working together now with the Fathers Matter Initiative with the Addressing Mass Incarceration group. So,
Yes.
and I mentioned this story to I think when we first met, I mentioned this story. I think you was on the um the call with us. But I wrote a book. I don't know if everybody can see it, called America the Beautiful. It's a book of poetry dealing with injustice, inequality, and racism here in America. So that's what the book is about. When I wrote this book, one of the things that I wanted to do with the proceed was give to a foundational organization that was helping people bail out of jail. So as I was going online, I came across the Bail Project. So I think when I met you and I forget her name,
Charlotte.
Charlotte, yes, our first meeting, I was like, this is the place where I wanted to give money to. So with that, if you would like to purchase a book of America the Beautiful, you can DM me or go in my inbox and let me know, and I can get a copy out to you. But 90% of this book, 90% of the proceeds goes back into the community. So I don't take
Awesome.
any profits from the book. It goes back into the community. And one of the areas that it assists in is addressing the issue of mass incarceration, which is assisting people with their bail, with bail. It also goes to other community organizations that are up and running and that are building our communities. And I do have something in there for our youth and our young adults, like becoming future leaders in our community and also within the political arena,
Awesome.
because that's really what we got to be, over that's changing some policies. So if
And
you
I'm
want
going
to
to buy a book.
you're going to buy a book. So
Yes.
if you want to purchase the book America the Beautiful, go ahead and send me inbox me, and I will be sure to get the book out to you. The price of the book is $13, but again, all of the proceeds goes back into our community. I don't get anything for the book. So we're going to go back to the Bail Project. Now with the Bail Project, what was it that made you want to be a part of the Bill Project and helping people, pay their bills and come against the issue of mass incarceration.
Well, definitely want to end. We trying to end the bail bondsman. I know
Right,
somebody ain't go. A few folks not gonna like me right now. We're trying to end the whole bail thing. Period.
right,
Pretrial services should come up with something else other than the whole reason why the bail system was created is because for those who need to return back to court, and so
mhm,
this is a way. If you do not return back to court, then a FTA will a failure to appear, a bench warrant, and you have to return back to jail. And so we definitely want to end cash bail. That's the main thing. I just like the work, the mission. I just knew I was like, this is something I know I can do. I know I can be a change maker and help those who are incarcerated. Many of them are mothers and fathers. Many of them have children. Many of them or some have been in college, college
right,
graduates. Some have been professional and has made a mistake, unfortunately, and we're trying to change their lives. And so they are innocent until presume guilt until they return back to court. So the whole process is we work with them until they return back to court. Once they return to court, then we're pretty much um, done with their case. Now,
right,
of course, we have a few clients that still, stay in touch with us, even though the case has been dismissed, and they still want to communicate with the Bail Project for other community support and programs that we may have that we can provide for them.
right. And not to mention the amount of people that are in jail because they couldn't bail out.
They couldn't bail out. I
Right,
mean, I bailed out a person last Friday, and the bond was $390. And so you would think that most people would have that amount of money in their account. A lot of people, even two parent household, do not even have $1,000. Do not have 500. So you'd be
right,
surprised how much money. Everybody do not have money in their account like that. Everyone do not own a home and can put their house up, to post bail for their loved ones. And then you have those who do not want to put their name on the documentation nowhere. And so this program really helps them a lot because it has the Bail Project name on it. So the family do not have to worry about, oh, if they do not show up for court, they're going to come after me. You don't have to
right,
worry about any of that. We take full responsibility of all of that. And so of course we want them to go back to court so we can get our money back because we don't pay
right,
10%. We pay the full amount. And so and we try to reiterate that once while we're doing the intake process, because we don't just go post bail for anybody. We have a protocol, a process. We interview and make sure this client would be a good fit for our program if we
right,
able to work with them and help them while they are out on bond. And so everybody, unfortunately, we cannot post bail for, depending on the amount, also depending on the charges. It's a number of things. If they have holds and warrants at other places, we cannot post their bail. And so, like I said, everything is a process. We don't want folks to think we just out here posting bail for any and everybody. It doesn't work like that.
right,
This is a national nonprofit organization doing great work. And it's a process. So, and you can find all of that information on the Bail Project
the Bill Project.
website.
Okay. And if someone wanted to donate, they could also do that on at your
Mhm.
website.
Yeah, they
Okay.
can. Yep, they can donate to the Bail Project, or if they want to donate to the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation. We take all form of payments except for EBT cards. So we take. I'm just making a joke. I like to have fun. I wish somebody give me some food stamps. I wish, because food is high right now. But we definitely take cash, cashier's check. We take all forms of credit and debit cards. So you can pay on PayPal, you can pay through Zelle, or you can pay online. So everything is on the website. If you have any issues, our email address is on there, and someone from the organization will be in touch with you.
Okay. So again, if you would like to give to the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation, you can do that at padfoundations.org. And then there's the Bell Project at bellproject.org if you want to donate to both or one of those, one of her organizations. So
Yep.
we are coming to a close, but before we close out, I have a question, and then we're just going to talk about a little bit about the other things that you have coming up. So I have a
Okay.
question. This is called the question on the table, right? So my question for you is, if you could write a check, and you deal with youth, so to our youth, if you could write a check to our youth, what would it be for? And that is going to be centered around spiritual, mentally, and emotionally. What would that check be for? Say you're going to write 3 checks. So what would
Okay.
those checks be for?
So if I'm going to write 3 checks, one check definitely going to have to be for higher learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe in, our motto for the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation: education is the key to unlock the pad. So definitely higher learning. Um, the second check will be for family visitation. During the pandemic, unfortunately, a lot of kids have not been able to see their mom and dad who has been
Mm-hmm.
incarcerated for the last 2 years. So we partner with another organization called Forever Family, with I went
Right.
through that organization as well. And that organization used to take the kids every second Saturday to visit a mom or dad in prison. So right now, like I said, with the pandemic, cannot do it. So everything is visitation is virtual. So that costs $50. Um, phone calls range from $5 to $15, and some may still do the traditional way. They need paper, envelope, stamps, and so we provide. So we partnership with them and give money to that aspect. So definitely a check for that. And the third check would be, I would do a music benefit concert camp for youth.
Oh, wow.
So what I would do, I would have, I used to direct choirs back in the day. I would have a community choir for youth ages 5 to 21. Yep, 5 to 21. All of them singing together. Babies on up to the grown folks. Yes, it can be done. It can be
It
done.
can,
But a
yeah.
hundred voices, all of them have the same shirts, nice denim jeans, no jeans with holes in them, because it's a time and a place for all of that. But clean tennis shoes, nice shirts, we're gonna be looking good with sunglasses.
That's crazy. With sunglasses. But what I wanted to ask you, I know you have the drum line, and I know you just said you would do the choir for like a benefit. But is that something you were thinking about doing or have thought about just for long term, like alongside the drum
Uh,
line?
in my younger days, yes.
Right.
I just recently turned 45. Um, my mindset is on some other projects that I'm currently working on.
Right.
My heart will always be with the young people. I wouldn't mind to help someone else out to start something like that, but right now I don't see it. Um, I'm just
Right.
giving. You asked me, well, I get 3 checks to, and that's what I would get 3 checks to.
Look, you just give the money, somebody else can start the choir. One thing you mentioned that you will write a check for um, young people to be able to see their incarcerated parent. I kind of just want to go back for a minute. Just talk about the effect that has on a young person that they're one or both or however it goes, parents are incarcerated and they're able to see their parent.
Um,
Like what does that do for that young person?
that a lot of people might not agree with it, but it definitely helped them mentally. It helped me. Like I said, I was blessed that my grandparents raised myself and my siblings. It's 4 of us, and we was able to see my mom. This is no lie. Every Saturday, that was our trip,
Wow.
and so everyone is not blessed to have that. And so that helped us Why, even though she was incarcerated, we all was behind bars as well because
Right.
we was not able to do certain things. She was not able to come to PTA meetings. She was not able to see me play or see my siblings, play sports or whatever. So um, it's important that the young person still have that contact with their loved ones that's incarcerated, regardless of the situation. That's still their parent.
Your
A lot
parent.
of people may not agree with the situation. A child gonna love their mother and father regardless.
Regardless.
Even a father who's absent from their children, the child still gonna love their dad. Even the mother is incarcerated, the child is still, or the children are gonna still love their mother. And so we have to be mindful. We have to show empathy for that particular group of young people, because I can speak on it. I know how I feel, and I'm grateful that my grandparents gave us that. We was looking forward to going to visit every Saturday. My grandfather had one of those 18 vans. That's what I used to call it. And he used to prepare sandwiches and snacks. And so our road trip was always, even though she was 4 or 5 hours away, my grandparents made sure we ate well, made sure we slept, made sure our clothes was pressed. So I was blessed, but I know some youth that are not blessed to have that. So if it wasn't for an organization like Forever Family, that's still doing this work over 30 years. My family was the first to be in that program. If it wasn't for them, a lot of these kids would not be able to see their loved ones. And so people, like I said, they have to show some type of empathy. Everybody knows somebody that's incarcerated.
Right.
Nobody cannot tell me you don't know one person, a cousin, an uncle, a aunt, a grandparent, a mom, a dad, step parent, it doesn't matter, a child. Everybody knows somebody that has been incarcerated, whether it been one day or life sentence or 30 days or 5 years or 10 years. Everyone knows someone that has been incarcerated. And trust me, it does have an impact on everybody. But the children should always remain connected to their parent that's incarcerated, regardless of the situation.
Right.
Now,
And
if
I
the parent was abusive, not to cut you off,
oh
but
yeah.
if the parent was abusive, no, no, that situation is totally different. But we talking about, other particular crimes or whatever, that's that's feasible, that's not going to be harm to the child.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for the child to still have a connection to their parent.
Right. And I was just gonna say I do agree with that because they're longing for their parent anyway. Either they're
Yes.
longing for their parent anyway. So if there's an opportunity, like you said, if that parent was abusive or whatever, but outside of that, if they have the opportunity and there's the means to do it, I totally agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't want the child also to feel like the parent abandoned them. You or
And
I
the
just say
parents still want to feel like they can parent to their child. My
right.
mom still felt like she can parent to us when she felt like we wasn't doing what we supposed to do. She would, trust me, her voice would make me cry. She didn't have
Mm-hmm.
to be, she didn't have to be in front of me. Her voice over the phone. Okay, mom, I got you. So I to me, I feel like that is important for every child to have a parent that's incarcerated, whether it be in the penitentiary, state prison, or jail. They still should have some type of communication with their loved ones.
Right. And it also helps the incarcerated parent too.
It
It
does.
also
I mean, they already behind bars. They already feel hopeless. They made a mistake. They like, oh my God, who's going to care for my child? You got
right.
to think about that. Do you want your child in foster care? Do you want your parents to take care of your children, or do you want their dad to take care of their children, or do you want their mom? It depends on what parent is incarcerated. So that in itself is a lot, and then you have to figure out who's going to be the guardian over
Mhm.
the children. That's a lot, and you have to change all the school paperwork. Behind the bars, so you have to get an attorney to
Wow.
come. People don't even understand the whole concept of, it's
Right.
not just visiting the parent virtually or in person. We're talking about school paperwork that has to be changed.
Right.
Unexpected. That happened to my grandparents. When they sentenced her, my grandparents, we was in school. We didn't know she went to court. When we
Mm,
walked home from school, We was like, why are my grandparents here? What they coming out with bags of our clothes.
Wow.
So I still can remember it like today, even though that
Mm-hmm.
happened years ago. I was 9 years old when it happened, but I remember it like it was yesterday. So, that in itself, like, so we're leaving from this address and we're gonna live with you guys, mind blowing.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot. That's an adjustment.
A
Especially like you said for the
major
child.
adjustment. Oh yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then my grandparents, back then, that was in the 80s. My grandparents really didn't know much about mental health, and if they did, they probably like, that's crazy. I'm just gonna be honest. Everything to them was, let's pray about it. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. But now we're in 2022. We got to do
Right.
more than praying. It's okay to sit and talk to somebody. You can have Jesus and you can have a therapist. It's nothing
Exactly.
wrong. It's nothing wrong with that. And so, like I said, back then, that was in the 80s. My grandparents didn't put us in therapy or anything. We should have been in therapy, because that was a major trauma experience that we all had experienced. Even my grandparents, because they had raised 7 kids and now they got to raise 4 kids in their
Or
50s. That's a lot.
right. Right. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that, so we can just see what happens and how that affects
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
So we're coming to a close, and again, I want to thank you all for joining us on tonight. So you have some events coming up. So I just want you to talk about that. I see you have the wine tasting coming up
Yes.
in
We had our
April.
April. Yes. We had our wine tasting. Last time we had our wine tasting right before the pandemic. I'm so upset because we had already paid a deposit for 2020, and so the wine tasting was at the Wine Shoe, which is in Atlanta near the Ben Stadium. So hopefully, we can do it again. Hopefully, we do not have another variant come, and hopefully, we don't have another shutdown. Our plan is to have it April 2022. I sent the email. I'm just waiting to make sure that she has some availability. If not, we may have to go, and change it to May or June. But right now, it's going to be in April. She's going to let me know the exact date, and I will share that on our website. The next event, hopefully, like I said, we do not have another shutdown or anything, and the numbers don't increase with COVID. Benefit concert. I'm grateful my church allowed me, to host it there for free at no cost. I'm grateful for my church and my pastor, just the whole entire ministry to support my organization at no cost. And so the benefit concert, the last time we had it was October 2019. And
Mhm.
so, hopefully we can have it again this year. I'm going to contact the church and see what dates are available in October. But we will put both dates for both events on our website. Now, the benefit concert is free. The wine tasting you do have to pay, but all proceeds goes to the PAD Foundation for the summer camp scholarships and the book scholarships. So we want to make sure that, the wine tasting summer scholarship is coming from the wine tasting, and the benefit, concert, scholarships come from the college, scholarships for those who are in college.
Okay. Now, do you have a certain amount of scholarships that you give out each year, or
Yes, we give out two. We give out
two?
two each
Okay.
year. So, last year, we gave two book scholarships. One student goes to Southern University,
Hmm.
and he received $1,000, and another student goes to Georgia State University. As he's here in Atlanta. He graduated from a school in Vegas, and I went to Vegas to his graduation. I
Wow.
was there, and we gave him a graduation gift, a nice love offering, not $50. But I
Wow.
want I want to be
Love
there. That's the
offering.
same young man we gave the summer camp. He was our first recipient to read
Oh,
the
wow.
summer camp scholarship that we gave in 2019. So to see him 2 years later is amazing. He graduated with a 4.0 GPA, and his
Wow.
mother was incarcerated. And bleed, this is no lie. She was released a couple weeks prior to his graduation, and she was
Wow.
approved to go from Atlanta to Vegas to be at the graduation. So, it was a great experience, to see her out, and to see him doing well in spite of this situation. This young man is still doing great. He's at Georgia State University. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of all the young people that we have provided scholarships to. They all are doing exceptional well.
That's awesome. And people can go to, again, the padfoundations.org to make a donation. And that's
Yeah.
just so awesome because you never know the impact that you're going to make on someone's life when you do what people say, the little things. It could be something, it could be something major to him. For
Oh
all we
yeah.
know, the thing that kept him going, you know,
Oh, he was
that
shocked when he
right
saw me.
there.
He didn't even know I was coming. It was a
Wow.
surprise. It was definitely a surprise, and I was glad to be there. It was 6 of us from Atlanta that actually was there. Forever Family. He came through that program. They was present. 2 people from that organization, and
Mhm.
his mom and his aunt and myself. So I'm just grateful that we was there to witness him walk across that stage, get that diploma, because the stats say he's 5 times more likely to be
Right,
incarcerated as well. But that devil is a liar.
right,
Oh
right.
yeah.
That is so awesome. I mean, just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you
Keep
so
doing what
much.
you're doing. That's amazing.
Thank you
That's
so much.
amazing. And now he'll go on and be able to do what you did, for, what though everybody did for him. You know,
Oh
he'll
yeah.
be able to go on and touch lives. So that's a good thing.
That's the
And
goal.
right. So people can get in contact you with email at padfoundation2016@gmail.com. You can
Yes.
also follow Lucretia on Facebook and IG at padfoundation2016.
Yes. Follow and
Again,
like us.
yeah, follow and like and share the page out and everything because that's some great stuff going on over there. Again, if you
Thank
would
you.
like to make a donation to the Bell Project, you can go to bellproject.org. And if you want to make a donation to Lucretia's Foundation, padfoundations.org, you can make a foundation to the Patricia Ann Doyle Foundation, where she is the founder and CEO. And I'm just gonna put this up here because I like it. Swag, someone who admires. Yeah, I'm just going to put it up there because I like it. So I want to thank everyone for joining us on tonight. Everyone that was on live, if you're going to be watching this by replay, thank you for watching the replay. And to all those that are listening by podcast, thank you for listening in on this great conversation. And don't forget to donate to the foundations that Lucretia's with so that you can help her to push her work forward. So we just want to partner with her so that as she continues to build our community. So Lucretia, again, thank you so much for joining
Thank
me on
you.
tonight. I really do appreciate it. And again, everyone, thank you for joining. Change the channel. I am Lisa L. Youmans. Before I leave, someone is saying hello,
Hey
Cece.
Camille. Oh, that's my sister-in-law. Hey Camille, thank you for joining.
Yes, so thank you for joining us on tonight. You can join me next Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Change the Channel. No static, no interference. And until the next time, everyone, goodbye and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Lucretia, just hold on a minute.